So 15 years ago, Windows 7 was released to the general public. And in this video, I'm going to show you guys my very first laptop that I got around the time that Windows 7 was released. Now, yes, this video is going to be a day late because I'm recording at night because I realized the news this morning and I can't really record videos during the day as easily. So I'm recording this at nighttime. So it's still the 22nd for me. However, by the time you guys see this video, it'll probably be the 23rd or 24th. But anywho, this is my very first laptop. Now, I got my very first laptop for Christmas of 2009, which I was around 10 years old back then. And honestly, for back then, I was stoked. You know, I wanted a laptop for the longest time. I asked for a laptop for Christmas, and this laptop I got 2 months after Windows 7 was released, and it did indeed come with Windows 7. Indeed, it came with Windows 7 Home Premium. Now, as you guys can see, as I've had this laptop for a while, I stuck stickers on it. It also has a lot of scratches and stuff on it. Now, surprisingly, this laptop actually still works and still functions, but it does have its flaws. Like, if I show you the USB ports, I don't know if you guys can see, but they're broken. They are completely broken. They don't work anymore. It wasn't me that actually broke it. My dad was borrowing this laptop in 2015 when he needed a laptop, and he was cleaning or something, and the USB ports are ripped out because he had the keyboard and mouse connected, like an external one, and it broke the ports, which is very unfortunate, but at least the laptop still works and still functions. So I'm going to show you around how Windows 7 was, talk about my history with it, and also at the end of the video, or towards the end, the second part of the video, I'm going to show, you know, maybe how to get some of that nostalgia back in 2024, coming into 2025. So let's open up this laptop. Now, this is an Acer Aspire 5532, my very first laptop. The laptop I did a lot of my YouTube videos on back in the early days of my channel, which I know a lot of those videos I've privated because they're old and, you know, cringeworthy and stuff. I thought about I might make a playlist at some point in the future, but just note that if you do look back at those videos, they are, you know, really old, and I was younger back then. But anywho, let's open up the laptop. So this is the laptop and what it looks like. I mean, it's not horrible. You could see that it's actually in pretty good shape, like cosmetically, like it looks pretty good still. And, you know, I did like the full-size keyboard, and this does look like a 15-inch laptop. I'm pretty sure it is because it has the number pad and stuff like that. So if I compare it to my 14-inch Lenovo over there, yeah, this is definitely different. So we are going to power this on. Now, this actually does still, you know, this is plugged in. You could see it does have the charging light on, the orange charging light. So the laptop is indeed charging. So let's just move the light a little bit because it's kind of bright, but let's power this on and watch it boot. So Acer empowering people, and it has the BIOS and boot menu keys. You guys have probably seen this laptop back then. I am certain you've seen it. So we're starting Windows, as you guys can see. Starting up Windows 7 Home Premium. Now, I believe I reset this laptop not too long ago, so it's still on the original installation with probably nothing changed. I don't think I've done anything with it, but we're about to find out. I wish I still had a lot of the old software. I'm sure if I looked through backup. So yep, we have the Acer background there, the Windows 7 Home Premium, Acer, that says welcome, and we're signing in. So I actually really liked this background back then. I mean, it kind of looked cool. I like the green color. Green was like one of my favorite colors when I was younger, and I really enjoyed how the login screen would be green like this. But I believe if you change the theme, it reverted, which is unfortunate. Yep, here we are. We are on the laptop. And as you guys can see, it is on its OEM installation. And we have the good old Windows 7 startup sound as well. Now, this laptop, oops, I didn't mean to open IE, that was an accident. But I'll show you guys the specs of this. I might want to close Internet Explorer though when it opens, which just says Internet Explorer 8. Because I believe this obviously doesn't have any service packs because Windows 7 had came out 2 months prior to getting this laptop, so this laptop was probably one of the first Windows 7 laptops. I doubt there's any updates on here whatsoever. But let's just do a properties here. So if I open up the system properties, oh, I've got to close Internet Explorer. Get out. Come on, Internet Explorer. Please get out. I just gotta close this out. Finally, it closed after clicking that like 20 times. So, what do we have here? As I said, Windows 7 Home Premium, Acer Aspire 5532, 3.1 on the Windows Experience Index. We have an AMD Athlon TF20 at 1.60 gigahertz and 3 gigs of RAM. This is the configuration that this laptop is shipped in. Now, I am not sure if this is the original hard drive or not because hard drives have gotten swapped around so many times. So this may be the drive, this may not be, but I know it came with a 160 gig drive if I recall. But we're going to check our storage here. Okay, this looks like it is a 160 gig drive, so this very well could be the original drive that the machine came with. I might have put it back, I'm not sure. I mean, I don't have that many 160 gig drives, and I know back in 2017 we had a situation where hard drives got wiped, and I didn't know what drive went to what system after that, and I was kind of just throwing drives together. So this was one of the machines that was affected, so hopefully the drive is the correct one, but even if not, it's the same size. So let's go through our installed applications on this Acer. So as you guys can see, we have how many? 41 applications at 2.60 gigs. So basically basically 2.5 gigs. And if I go through here, you guys will see we have like Acer Arcade, Acer Assist, Acer ePower Management, Acer eRecovery Management, Acer Games, Acer Grid Vista, not sure what that is. And we can see that freaking McAfee is yelling at us that we don't have protection. I honestly am gonna end up uninstalling that because why would we want McAfee? One of the worst antiviruses, even though I used it back in like 2015 and then ended up getting rid of it because I didn't like it. Actually, I used it from like, I think 2013 to 15, maybe, and then I just stopped using it. So, you know, Acer registration, screensaver, updater, Acrobat.com, that's interesting. Adobe Air, which I don't even know if that's a thing anymore. I think that's discontinued. An old Adobe Flash Player, which is also discontinued. An old version of Adobe Reader, I know they still update that. Looks like our Ethernet driver is right here. Our ATI Catalyst, because the graphics on here was ATI, I'm pretty sure. Office 2007 stuff. I don't know what eSobi is. ePay Worldwide, that's an old eBay icon. Google Toolbar for Internet Explorer. We don't even use toolbars anymore. Identity Card, Launch Manager, of course, McAfee Security Center. You know, we gotta love our McAfee. That is such an old version of McAfee. Office, Silverlight, and all this random stuff. Even Microsoft Works. Why does it include that if we have Office? I don't know what my WinLocker is. Norton Online Backup. So they include like Norton stuff as well. I think I remember this popping up on me before. NTI Backup Now. I don't know what that is. And we're just gonna, honestly, we're about done with the list. We have our Realtek drivers, Symantec trackpad driver, Welcome Center, which is an Acer thing, Windows Live as well. So all the Windows Live stuff is on here. Basically, back then I used to always use Windows Movie Maker to edit my videos. Up until 2017, actually, I used Movie Maker to edit. Actually, it might have been 2018. I can't remember. It was like I think it was 2018 actually, I stopped using Movie Maker because honestly, it's not great. It's been discontinued for quite a while now, and I don't know how I used it that long, but I ended up learning how to use DaVinci Resolve, and it's my go-to video editor. Will I ever change video editors? Maybe, because I might end up trying like other ones and seeing what else there is to offer. But those are installed applications. I'll say I always loved playing the games. I'm not going to do this in this video though, but that was one thing when I had this laptop back then. I will try to find a screenshot of like the desktop. I know I had an old screenshot of what my desktop looked like back in those days when I used this laptop, and I was actually had it completely organized. Like, I don't like when the desktop is all messy and disgusting. I always organized it and all that stuff, even though I had a lot of programs. And if you guys have been around my channel for a while, you guys, I'm sure, have seen this laptop many times. And honestly, I ended up getting a new one in 2012, which was actually around the time when Windows 8 had just released. And I believe it was like right after Windows 8 released. Actually, I don't think it was 2012, but it was like January 2013. And I think Windows 8 was released in like October 2012 or something, if I recall. I don't remember off the top of my head. I might be right, but I believe it was like also a couple months after that I got a laptop which had Windows 8. Which I actually bought that laptop back, and it has the OEM image on it, which is pretty cool. So I'll make videos on that too. So, you know, I get to have my old main laptops. Now, I probably will end up updating this and all that stuff, but I don't really use it. So like, it kind of just sits in my closet as a collection item. But let's take a look at McAfee. Let's see, why is McAfee yelling at us? Let's see what it wants. Oh, that is an old version of McAfee. It wants us to activate. Yeah, thanks for choosing McAfee. No, I didn't. I don't want to activate this either because honestly, I'm gonna end up uninstalling it, but I thought I'd show you guys what this looks like and how computers seemed very different back then. And honestly, they really were. I feel like back then you could customize more, do more. And honestly, Windows 7 was a very stable operating system, which is why so many people used it for so long and why people still use it to this day. There's people out there that still main this operating system and daily drive it, which is honestly impressive if you're able to do that. However, obviously, I'd recommend having a browser that gets updates, meaning you can't use Chrome or Firefox. You have to use a different browser that were made specifically for these operating systems that still get support. And I believe there is a way to get extended updates on Windows 7, but I've not made a video, I don't think, on that. I think I showed it in my up-to-date 7 video, but obviously I can't really provide links or say how to do it because, you know, I don't want Microsoft to get all mad, but that does require Windows 7 Professional or Enterprise, so you can't even do it on Home Premium to begin with. So you'd have to have like already a more newer edition of Windows 7 and a way to activate it, like a legit key or whatever, which I'm sure there's probably ways, but you know, older computers might have keys on them that you can use if they do work, but how often are you going to see a computer with like a Windows 7 Pro sticker on it? I mean, I don't know. Anyways, enough said. Windows 7 was my childhood. I used this laptop from, you know, December 2009 to probably January 2013 when I got my new one, which I got a new one because this laptop started being slow. The CPU usage always started going up all the time, and it just didn't feel the same. The laptop struggled, and it was really starting to show its age, which is when I got that Toshiba, but then I ended up selling it in like early 2015. Well, it's giving us a little message here. Click to create Acer factory default backup disk. I think that's like the recovery disks, but I've already created those twice, and I actually have a backup of the disks on my computer. So in the event that the disks fail, I can just burn them again, so I don't need to worry about that. But I've made many videos recovering the Acer with the discs, so I'm probably not going to do another video on that, honestly, because I've done way too many of those, and I forgot to make the part 2. I might still end up making a video showing old programs on it and stuff in the future. I know that's a very delayed part 2. I just had a lot come up with school, and then I completely forgot about it, and I never did it. And, you know, maybe I'll end up doing it. But I'll just say this, for the people that, you know, still use Windows 7 in 2024, honestly impressive. Like, this OS is still definitely usable to this day. As long as you know what you're doing, you're being careful, you have it on maybe a secondary machine for, like, you know, the average people that want to mess with it. It's honestly best to use Windows 7 on a secondary computer and not your primary. But for people that really know what they're doing, they probably can use it on a primary if they, you know, keep it up to date and secure and know what they're installing and know what websites they're visiting. Like, you'll probably be fine. But anyways, for the people that, you know, want the nostalgia back of Windows 7, like, what is the best ways? Now, I did make a video which was called This Is Not Windows 7 or something like that. And it basically showed that there is this transformation pack that you can install, and it would transform your computer to look and feel exactly like Windows 7. However, it only works on Windows 10 version 21H2 and 22H2. So it's kind of limited in options. You can't really do it on Windows 11 either, but I know there was like another one that was called like Revert 8 Plus, which was another transformation pack. I've not used that one personally, but I know it's not as accurate as the other one I used in the other video, which was called like Windows 10 to 7 transformation pack. However, I know that Revert 8 Plus does work on Windows 11, or you could simply just use Start All Back on Windows 11 and get the, you know, Windows 7 looking taskbar back. You can actually get the look back. You can get, you know, how the taskbar icons look, like as in, you know, not like the exact icons, but how it has like this border around it. You can do that. So there are ways to get that nostalgia back. Honestly, I'll probably show the other laptop in a minute or quickly install it just to show you guys my other laptop that has the transformation pack and how it differs from this computer. So I will show you guys that. So as you guys can see, I have two laptops side by side. I have a laptop that looks more, you know, like the Windows 7 days. It has the Windows 7 sticker and it looks just like Windows 7. However, I can tell you that this laptop is not on Windows 7. If I do a WinVer, you guys can see it says 7, but then you look and it says version 21H2. So this laptop has the transformation pack installed, and honestly, it's pretty accurate. So you could see from here, I can open the start menu, which obviously I didn't activate Start is Back, so it expired. So unfortunately, after 30 days, you'll have to pay for it, or it's gonna put sad faces everywhere, which I'm not gonna put a license on this because I'm gonna end up wiping this and putting real Windows 7 on it. This is the laptop I used for my transformation pack video, but you guys can see that it even has like all the 7 games on it and everything. And you can right click computer and go to properties. And I mean, the system properties looks pretty convincing. Like it says Windows 7 Service Pack 1 even. And it looks, you know, completely accurate, which is insane. And this is Windows 7 hardware. I wonder if I can do the system rating. I don't think this works, but sometimes it shows a rating if it rates it, but I don't think I can click on it for whatever reason. And then I have a laptop that is definitely more modern and definitely can't run 7. So this is obviously not Windows 7, and I kind of just put it on here for looks, but it's not activated either. So I'm gonna have to fix that. I may or may not put a license on this because I was thinking of installing Windows 11 on this laptop, but I don't really use this very often. So if I go to the properties here, this one has the dark theme because I enabled the dark theme, but You can see this hardware is a lot more modern and most certainly wouldn't run Windows 7 or wouldn't run Windows 7 well. However, this one does have an experience index of what it looks like to be 6.9. So, oh, my phone's rotating. It's not too bad. If I open this, see, it doesn't open. I think it's just a bug or it's not meant to open, but essentially, this looks just like 7, and even the taskbar icons look and feel like Windows 7, which is pretty cool. And even the sound panel, that works. And I believe the old Wi-Fi panel's on here. Yes, it is. So, yeah, if you just want a Windows 7 look and all that stuff, honestly, this will probably bring most of the nostalgia back and even make it look better. Like the dark theme on this one, but on this one I just kept the default. I can change it in the theme settings, but it does include like all the Windows 7 themes. I need to close that first, I think. Yeah, there we go. Looks pretty close. And honestly, I think it's pretty cool. So if I personalize, if it even, there we go. So yeah, you guys can see I have the Windows 7 Dark selected, and it even has all the other like normal themes on here. And I know I've showed this on the video. If you want more information on the transformation pack I did, watch that video. Also make sure you fully update Windows before installing it, because you don't want it to break on you. And yes, future updates like may break certain things, but you can just uninstall the pack and then reinstall it and it fixes. But it wouldn't ever like make the system unusable or unbootable or anything like that. As long as you were fully updated initially before installing it, one little patch isn't going to like fully break the machine or anything like that, because you can see it's right here and I can just uninstall if there's a problem and then reinstall it. And we're good to go. I think this is up to date. I haven't used this laptop in quite a bit, but yeah. Anyways, I will say this. Thanks for watching. We're gonna cut back to the other clip for the outro, but honestly, it's crazy how Windows 7 came out that long ago. And if you guys want to list like some Windows 7 experiences you guys had, you know, feel free to leave a comment. In fact, I actually went back to using Windows 7 in 2015 when I sold that Toshiba laptop. I actually used it when that laptop broke. It was in November 2014. I started using my old Acer, and then I got another laptop in January, which was the DV6. And I used Windows 7 on that laptop really for a long time. I did end up, you know, putting Windows 10 on it when 10 got released as a dual boot eventually. I think I upgraded it first. I had too many issues. I wiped it. I dual booted 7 and 10 because Windows 10 would blue screen very often. Like every week on that laptop, it would blue screen. But on 7, it was like once a month. So it was a lot more stable. And for schoolwork, I just needed to use Windows 7 on that laptop because 10 was just way too unreliable, unfortunately, on the DV6, which it actually runs Windows 7 still to this day, I'm pretty sure. It's gonna stay on Windows 7 because honestly, it's, you know, more designed for that laptop with a ton of hardware faults. But I used Windows 7 up until I got, I believe, I got the Envy in like, what was it, 2016? Sometime in 2016. I think it was like May or June of 2016. And I used Windows 10 mainly from that point on and didn't really use 7 unless it was like on another computer or a VM. However, I will say in 2016, I definitely really started moving on to Windows 10, even on the DV6. And I didn't really use 7, even though I did still dual boot both on that laptop until I got the Envy. But then from there on, I just stuck with 10. I haven't even really moved to 11. It's crazy, but anyways, those are my experiences for you guys. Okay, so you guys would have already seen that. I've not recorded it yet, but you guys would have already seen it in the video. I'm gonna go ahead and shut this laptop down. I'm not going to do much on here, honestly, because like I said, the video would be super long. It's already going to be probably like close to 30 minutes anyway. And honestly, I want to try and make some shorter content as well. But I really just wanted to talk about, you know, how I felt about, you know, Windows 7 and all that stuff. It's crazy how this operating system hasn't had support since 2020 and people are still using it. And honestly, I can't blame them, especially if you have like an older laptop that honestly just doesn't run well on Windows 10. Like, it makes sense. But for the people, like I said, that have more modern computers, can't run Windows 7 efficiently or well, just use the transformation pack, honestly, and all that stuff, and you'll have, honestly, a great experience with it, I believe. So, anyways, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and bye-bye for now.